Welcome back to the Professor's Lab. I'm Professor V, and this is round 3 of the league tournament that happened at Die Hard Games on November 9th, 2023. If you didn't know, Die Hard League happens every Thursday at 6 p.m. Central at Die Hard Games, featuring casual and tournament play of whatever format anyone wants, really. More info in the description, and check out Pokemon's event locator for premier events at Die Hard Games, such as League Challenges, League Cups, and pre-releases. Please hit that like button right quick, subscribe to this channel, ring the bell for notifications, say what you need to say in the comments, and all that other good free stuff. But anyways, let's get into this game. Charizard on the left versus Lost Zone on the right. Comfey uses flower selecting to look at the top 2 cards of the deck. Put one into the Lost Zone, the other into the hand. Psychic Energy hits the Lost Zone. Sableye hits the bench, and a pass. Oh no. And our Charizard player on the left starts out with double Battle VIP Pass. Battle VIP Pass is that item card that you can only play on your first turn. When you do, you search your deck for 2 basic Pokemon and put them onto the bench. So we're going to see 4 basic Pokemon hit the bench here. Probably 2 Charmander, a Pidgey, and a Pidgeot V, because I think I saw that Forest Seal Stone in hand. Yep. 2 Charmander, Pidgeot V, and Pidgey. Pidgeot V being prioritized here just because that Forest Seal Stone is already in hand, I imagine. Another good Pokemon to grab would be that Mysterious Tail Mew. But it also depends if there's a switch card or an energy in hand to be able to retreat into it to use its Mysterious Tail ability. I also forgot to mention that Lumineon V was the start here for Charizard, so not ideal, but I guess we'll take that with the double Battle VIP pass. We'll see. Our players, it's me, of course, on the left, just taking a look through the deck with this first deck search to see what cards are available. Going to go for a boss's orders on that Sableye to make things a little harder for our Lost Zone player, and passing things over, they immediately have the switch card. Switching back into that Comfey, using that flower selecting, sending another energy into the Lost Zone. Nest Ball being played to search the deck for a basic Pokemon to put onto the bench. Could be that Radiant Greninja or another Comfey. I'm going to go with the other Comfey here. They come in pairs, I guess. And now we would like to see more switch cards. Switch cards to switch into that other Comfey and keep using flower selecting. Would like to see something like that Chorus Experiment to get more cards into the hand and into the Lost Zone. There is an energy in hand. That's about all I could see. Switch card. There we go. Switching to that second Comfey. Second flower selecting. Looking at the top 2. Kind of a tougher choice on this one. Nest Ball and a water Pokemon. I think that's that Kyogre. I think you have to keep the Kyogre or the Pokemon there unless you're playing multiple copies. And just a pass back over to the Charizard player. We've got the Forest Seal Stone in hand. We got the Charizard EX in hand. Supporters. Forest Seal Stone being attached to that Pidgeot V, giving it the V-Star Power Ability Star Alchemy. I see an Iono for sure. There's already a rare candy in hand too. So I guess we look for Pidgeot here. So there's the hand. Look for Pidgeot, rare candy, evolve the Pidgey into Pidgeot. Pidgeot can quick search for the other rare candy. Yeah, there's just almost an embarrassment of resources here. So that Forest Seal Stone is going to search for the Pidgeot EX. Rare Candy evolving that Pidgey into that Pidgeot EX. Pidgeot EX is going to use its Quick Search ability to search the deck for a card once per turn. Gonna find that second Rare Candy. Rare Candy is going to evolve that Charmander into Charizard. Charizard, when it evolves, uses its Infernal Rain ability to search the deck for 3 fire energy and attach them to the Pokemon in any way you like. 1 going onto the active so it can retreat. 2 onto the Charizard EX so it can attack. And Iono being played. Iono, both players shuffle their hand, put it at the bottom of the deck, and then each player draws cards equal to their remaining prize cards. So both players will get 6 cards off the top in this instance. What else do we need? Maybe a Charmeleon to start evolving that Charmander on the bench and give it more HP. I don't think there's really anything else that's needed at this point. We already have a Charmander on the bench, secondary attacker ready to go. The Pidgeot's online. Definitely want to shuffle that Pidgeot V back into the deck with its ability. It's like Rare Candy, Lost Vacuum in hand, Charizard, Radiant Charizard, I mean, Arven, and Battle VIP Pass. Really nothing else to play here. Manually retreat into that Charizard EX. Charizard EX is doing 180 damage right now. Attack. More than enough to KO that opposing Comfey. Taking the first prize card of the game, Comfey is promoted. Uses its flower selecting ability, sending a Super Rod into the Lost Zone, keeping another card. Course Experiment being played here. Looking at the top 5 cards of the deck. Sending 2 of them, 2 Escape Rope to the Lost Zone, keeping the other 3 cards. Those must have been important. Okay, let's see. There, the Pidgeot wasn't actually shuffled back into the deck. Um, but I asked my opponent, hey, I totally would have done this on my turn, last turn. Is it okay if I do that? They're like, yeah, it's cool. We're chilling. I know you would have did that. So thanks, homie, for letting me do that. I'll try to make sure I'm more proactive with it in the future. Cramorant hits the bench there, and um, a Pokestop, it looks like, is played. Let's see here. Pokestop sending a yeah, Cramorant hits the bench. Pokestop being put into play and used. Pokestop, you look at the top 3 cards of the deck, or you put the top 3 cards of the deck into the discard pile, and if any of them were items, you could put them back into your hand. So, Course Experiment staying in the discard, Energy Recycler, and Battle VIP Pass going to the hand. Not the best Pokestop sending that Course Experiment away. And now the Lost Zone player plays a Pidgeot V and Forest Seal Stone attached to it of their own. And it looks like they activated the Star Alchemy V-Star Power ability on that Forest Seal Stone to search the deck for a card. So they have to find the best card here. A supporter was already played, so we're not going to find anything like Course Experiment. Could grab one for next turn, but it looks like that Radiant Greninja was being eyeballed there. Radiant Greninja is very good as a support Pokemon and attacker in these Lost Zone decks. I think we're going to see the Radiant Greninja hit the bench. And if there's any energy in hand, we will see its Concealed Cards ability. Discard a energy card and draw 2 cards. Also has that powerful Moonlight Shuriken attack. Might come up later. We'll talk about it if it does. Pidgeot V's ability being activated when it's on the bench, it shuffles itself, or it can shuffle itself and any cards attached to it back into the deck, removing it from the field, removing that liability. It popped in just to bring that Radiant Greninja into play, and then flew away. Now let's see if we can. We have enough cards in the Lost Zone for a free Cramorant attack here. So Escape Rope being played. Um, the opponent chooses a new active Pokemon to promote first, and then the Escape Rope player does the same. Don't want to give up the Charmander. The Pidgeot has free retreat and a lot of HP, so it's probably the Pidgeot EX that gets promoted here. Don't really want the lower HP Lumineon that gives up 2 prizes to take a lot of damage. So yep, Pidgeot flying into the active spot here, Cramorant as well. Since there are 4 more cards in the Lost Zone, it can attack for free thanks to its Lost Provisions ability. Spit instantly for 110 damage onto that opposing Pidgeot EX, and play resumes on Charizard's side. Now we just want to build more Charizard here. Maybe find a Lost Zone stadium to start sending these opposing Pokemon into the Lost Zone. Taking a KO on the Comfey, the lone Comfey, would be nice as well. Taking away the Lost Zone engine, or starting to dismantle it. Normally you don't go after the Comfey if there's more than one, because then there's at least one to follow up. But since there is only one there, it is very tempting. There is a Pokestop in play, so I definitely would like to find a Lost City to counter that if possible. So those are probably the 2 things being debated here. What to grab off of Pidgeot's Quick Search. Boss's Orders or Lost City. Depends on what's in hand. Ultimately going to go for that Boss's Orders. I know better to go after the engine. Searching the deck here, seeing what's in deck, maybe getting a Lost City count, just seeing what resources are there. Manaphy is being debated on here, so there may be something like an Ultra Ball or a Nest Ball in hand. So that's all that's happening here. Is still in the deck from the quick search. Definitely going to find the boss's orders and play it, but just kind of mapping out the next move here. Does Manaphy get found or not? It does protect the bench from Radiant Greninja's Moonlight Shuriken attack. It can do 90 damage to 2 of your opponent's Pokemon, whether they're in the active or on the bench. So Manaphy would protect against that Radiant Greninja. There are 6 cards in the Lost Zone, so Mirage Gate can be online very easily next turn to accelerate energy to that Radiant Greninja to attack. Gonna decide against the Manaphy here, instead going for Rare Candy, evolving that second Charizard EX on the bench, and accelerating 2 energy to it from the deck, thanks to its Infernal Rain ability when it evolves. Another energy being put onto that Lumineon, so that way it can't be boss stalled or anything like that, or it's ready to pivot when it needs to. These 2 Charizards should be enough to carry us through the rest of this game. Pidgeot could have been a good target because it's a decent attacker into this Lost Zone deck. Looks like Lost Vacuum was played, sending Battle VIP Pass to the Lost Zone in order to send the Pokestop to the Lost Zone. So no Lost City, but at least we countered the Pokestop, I guess. Free retreat into that Charizard EX, and Charizard finally takes the KO on the opposing Comfey. Radiant Greninja comes into the active spot. Uh-oh. Course Experiment being played. Let's look at the top 5. Sending 2 of the least important cards to the Lost Zone. Now we have 9 cards in the Lost Zone. Mirage Gate is online, And there's no mana fee in play. Radiant Greninja discards an energy with its concealed cards ability to draw 2 more cards, building up that hand and the combos. Artisan being debated on being played here. I don't see why you not play it. That stadium lets you search, each player search their deck for a basic non-rule box Pokemon and put it onto the bench. That Comfey, another Comfey being found right away with that Artisan. Water energy being attached to the active Greninja, so I'm pretty sure next is Mirage Gate. When there's 7 or more cards in the Lost Zone, search the deck for 2 different basic energy and attach them to your Pokemon in any way you like. Water and Psychic going on to that Radiant Greninja. Moonlight Shuriken is about to be used here, again to do 90 damage to 2 of your opponent's Pokemon. I imagine, and I don't know, we're for sure going to put 90 on the Pidgeot EX, right? And then maybe 90 on the Lumineon. But it's also like, how am I going to not start softening up this active Charizard that's smacking me in the face? So we'll see what our Lost Zone player decides to do. Moonlight Shuriken, discard 2 energy, do 90 attack damage to 2 of your opponent's Pokemon. 90 on that Pidgeot, slowly accumulating the damage there, and then 90 onto the active Charizard EX. So if Manaphy was grabbed last turn, we wouldn't have seen any bench damage here. Probably would have seen a Cramorant attack, actually. But either way, going to move forward with the Charizard turn. There is a lone Comfey, again, on the bench. So a quick search for boss's orders may be in order. Also would be good to grab that replacement stadium, Lost City, to attack the Radiant Greninja and send it to the Lost Zone versus the discard pile. That is a pretty big threat right now. We do have that Sableye incoming with its Lost Mine attack. Let's see, we have 9 cards in the Lost Zone, so all it needs is 10 to start being able to use Lost Mine to spread 12 damage counters in any way they like on the opponent's side of the board. So doing some math here, seeing what the opponent can do, which of the Charizard side Pokemon will survive a Lost Mine or even a Cramorant attack. Just so many different options this Lost Zone player has right now. So definitely have to make the right choice here. Or at least the best one, based off of what the board looks like. Looks like Quick Search is being activated here. Search the deck for a card. Debating on that Manaphy again. Just depends on what Pokemon's going to get KO'd. Manaphy being found with Ultra Ball. Ultra Ball discarding Arven and Pidgeot V. Actually, it could have been the Artisan, actually, that finds the Manaphy. And I think, actually, I remember right, my opponent says, why didn't you just use the Artisan to find the Manaphy? An argument could be made to thin the Arven and Pidgeot V out of the deck. Pidgeot V is useless at this point. Arven's okay to keep, so I think I do ultimately take him up on allowing me to use the Artisan to find the Manaphy. But, as we said, Manaphy should have been found last turn to prevent all that Greninja damage. So yep, Artisan is going to find the Manaphy. We're seeing how many cards the opponent has in hand, because an Iono could actually be good to play here. Consulting the opponent's discard pile here, seeing what resources they have available to better inform this quick search here. And it looks like we're going after the lone Comfey again. Yep, quick search. finding Boss's orders. Boss's orders bringing up that Comfey into the active spot, and Charizard takes the KO on the opposing Comfey. Manaphy is good to protect the bench from Radiant Greninja, but it looks like Sableye is going to be the attacker of choice this time around. That replacement Comfey coming right down. Radiant Greninja, discard an energy card to draw 2 cards with its Concealed Cards ability. Artisan is still in play. Psychic Energy being attached to the active Sableye. Artisan being activated to search the deck for a basic non-rule box Pokemon. Another Comfey, maybe? Instead, that Zamazenta, actually. Okay, the Revenge Pokemon. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 cards in the Lost Zone, so we're going to have to see one more, at least one more, hit the Lost Zone in order for Sableye to start Lost Mining. I imagine there's a way to do so. There we go with the Lost Vacuum, sending the Battle VIP past the Lost Zone to send the Artisan to the Lost Zone. We got more than 10 cards in the Lost Zone. Lost Mine is online. Second backup Sableye hitting the bench there. Our Lost Zone players' field is definitely looking threatening now. They have 6 prize cards remaining, but with damage counter spread, that can change in an instant on these opposing 2 prize Pokemon. Alright, so Lost Mine. Going to put 7 damage counters onto that Manaphy to take the KO on it. 5 more damage counters can be put somewhere else. I don't think it's enough to knock out the Pidgeot EX quite yet. Potentially should have just put them all on the Pidgeot, or enough for it to take the KO. If 12 damage counters could have taken the KO on the Pidgeot. But it looks like the rest of them are going to go on to that Pidgeot EX. Very hard for me to see the numbers on those dice, but there's something like 30 HP left or something on that Pidgeot. At least we get one more quick search out of it. Thanks, Manaphy. It soaked up some damage. Oh yes, Lost Zone player, don't forget to take the prize card there. Play resumes on Charizard's side. Obviously have the KO on the Manaphy. Or sorry, on the opposing Sableye. Doing lots of math here, calculating how much damage the Lost Zone player could be doing on their next turn. Ultra Ball, discarding a Pidgeot EX and Pidgeot V to search the deck for a Pokemon. Most likely just thinning out the hand here, thinning cards out of the deck. Gonna find that Charmeleon so that way it can make an appearance here in this video today. Quite a few options in hand. Looks like double Arven, escape rope. Yeah, nothing else that really needs to be played. So Iono here. Hand disruption's pretty good against these Lost Zone decks. So Iono, even though only 2 cards will be drawn here, we still get a quick search after the Iono. So it's just fine. Potentially the last quick search of the game. Iono, both players shuffle their hands, put them at the bottom of their deck, then draw prize cards equal to the remaining prize. Or draw cards equal to the remaining prize cards. That Lost City finally found here, put into play. Whenever a Pokemon's KO'd, it goes to the Lost Zone instead of the discard pile. Vitality Band and Professor's Research in hand, so definitely a good follow-up for next turn here. Pidgeot's going to use Quick Search to search the deck for a card. So now just going to take a look through the deck and see what is the best card to find. That Super Rod being eyeballed here with only 1 fire energy in the discard pile. No Pokemon needing to be cycled back in, so maybe Super Rod's not the best card to choose here. A Lost City, potentially for next turn, is being eyeballed in case the opponent counters it. The current Lost City with the stadium of their own, we can make things even harder for them by immediately putting a replacement Lost City back into play before Professor's Research. So yeah, definitely want to use this quick search here as it's probably the last one of the game. It looks like the Lost City was decided to be grabbed for the next turn since the Professor's Research is already in hand. Charizard takes the KO on Sableye, sending it to the Lost Zone. Comfey comes into the active spot. Play will resume on our Lost Zone player side. Hisuian Heavy Ball being played. You look at your prize cards, and you could switch Hisuian Heavy Ball with a basic Pokemon in the prizes. No basic Pokemon targeted here, so the prizes get shuffled up and placed back out with that League Hisuian Heavy Ball. Come on down to League and get those League prize packs by playing some Pokemon. That's all you gotta do. You have fun, you get some prize packs. Flower selecting being used by the active Comfey here. 2 prize cards remaining for the Charizard player, 5 for Lost Zone Kyogre. This is Lost Zone Kyogre. Switch card going to the Lost Zone, another card getting added to that hand there. Alright, there we go. That Beach Court replacement stadium bumping that Lost City, giving all Pokemon one colorless less to their retreat costs. Lost Zone player consulting their discard pile. And a Super Rod being played right after, shuffling back into the deck some energy. 2 waters and a psychic. That'll go back into the deck. And Mirage Gate being played immediately, searching the deck for 2 different energy cards and attaching to their Pokemon in any way you like. We're going to see another Radiant Greninja attack here. Oh man, the Manaphy. Manaphy's in the discard, not on the board. So I wonder how much damage is on that active Charizard EX. I feel like not enough for the Radiant Greninja to knock it out. Comfey retreats into that Greninja thanks to Beach Court. Radiant Greninja uses Moonlight Shuriken to deal 90 damage to the Pidgeot EX, more than enough to take the KO. And 90 damage will go somewhere else. Not enough to take the knockout on the active Charizard, so going to soften up the second Charizard EX on the bench. Play will resume on Charizard's side. 2 prize cards left to take. No multi-prize Pokemon in play. So we're going to have to see 2 KOs here. Consulting the discard pile, seeing what resources have been used, what might be in deck. Counter Stadium, Lost City being put into play. You can attach the Vitality Band before the research. Doesn't really matter here, so put it on the active. Let it flex a little bit after doing so much work. And Professor's Research, discarding the hand and drawing 7 new cards. Don't want to put that Charmander in play as Radiant Greninja and Sableye says hello. I knock you out right away. Forest Seal Stone going on to that bench Lumineon. And Ultra Ball being played to discard a couple cards. Most likely just to thin the deck at this point. Don't really need the Battle VIP Pass or the Forest Seal Stone, I guess. So actually not going to attach the Forest Seal Stone and discard it instead, along with the Battle VIP Pass with the Ultra Ball to search the deck for something Just thinning the hand out of the useless cards at this point. Don't really want to put any other Pokemon in play because of the Radiant Greninja and Sableye attacks, of course. So that Charmeleon being found again, getting some love there. And Charizard EX takes the KO. Think we entered time here, so this is turn 0. After the 30-minute time limit, whenever time is called, the player whose turn it is turn 0. Then there's turn 1, 2, 3 after that, and the game's over. Someone has to fill a win condition in order for there to be a winner in Swiss. Consulting the discard pile, seeing if there's anything else that needs to be played here. Debating on benching that Radiant Charizard, so that way it's ready to go, but I don't think there's really any need for it at this point. It's just a target for Cramorant doesn't deal weakness damage to it. It can only do 110 as a side effect of its attack. The Radiant Greninja is about to get Lost Zone, so don't have to worry about that. But really just don't need to play the Radiant Charizard at this point. Taking the KO on the Radiant Greninja, and play resumes on Lost Zone side. Let's see if they could take 3 prizes in one turn. It's definitely possible with this Kyogre build of the Lost Zone. Nest Ball is going to immediately find that Kyogre. I've seen the Kyogre attack 250 to 2 bench Pokemon, or 250 to 2 bench Pokemon. But usually when the Kyogre is ready to attack, the Lost Zone deck is like non-existent. There's like 1 or 2 cards or nothing in deck, and that looks like there's at least 10 or more cards in deck. So can our Lost Zone player power up this Kyogre to deal its massive damage? Flower selecting, sending Forest Seal Stone to the Lost Zone. Keeping that other card, that Energy Recycler, that's one of the pieces needed. We have a switch cart to switch into that Cramorant. Cramorant spits innocently on the Charizard. Whether it takes the KO or not, let's say if it did take the KO on it, the opposing Charizard comes up and takes the last prize of the game. Our Lost Zone player, seeing that they cannot put that Kyogre combo together, went out swinging, spit innocently, and Charizard takes down the game and the tournament, I think. Let's see. Yep. So Charizard, congrats to our November 9th, 2023 League Tournament champ, and as always, thank you guys for playing some Pokemon. What'd you think of this video and the commentary? Please let me know in the comments. Like this video, subscribe to this channel. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time in the Professor's Lab.